In a land isolated from the world by a dire fog, three unlikely allies find peril and adventure. A sly rogue of dwarven descent. A strange and ancient elf wielding the power of nature. And a brutish warrior with a foul temper and even worse manners. Welcome to the Den.
I'm stretching. I'm gonna just stretch. Get a little. Okay, let's get alarms up, and we are live on the internet. Damn it! On this fine Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, as advertised at the last minute, with our amazing DM Len, and that's all I'm gonna say. This is episode 2 of the Den, and the floor is yours. Let's do this.
Oh man, it's such a fast way to jump in. Hi. First of all, hello everybody. And hearing my phone go off in the background telling me to take my roast out. So we'll ignore that for a minute because it's already done. But yeah, how is everybody doing this week?
Fantastic. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm excited.
I'm good.
Excellent. Getting some warm weather up here in Maine, so me and Matt have been enjoying that.
When you say warm, does that mean it's like 20 degrees Fahrenheit? Or
No, it was 47 today.
Oh.
So we got some actual melting of our giant sheets of ice that have been plaguing us for a while. So that's good.
Wow.
How about you, Tyler? What's up?
Not much. Excited to see if we can help Fraxinus escape. Didn't say breakout.
Nice.
I think I'm just walking somewhere currently, but you might need to help me out. There is that whole bond that I forced you guys into.
So yeah, without further ado, just a quick recap of last week's session. The beginning. You guys kind of got to know each other in the town of Lothenburg, and kind of precariously made friendships, we'll see, while sort of curiously poking at Fraxinus, who was just kind of hanging out. You guys then sort of caution to the wind, followed up on a bulletin board post, which was decoded by Tarq Shortbread in Thieves' Cant, reading, "Your goods are ready, left by the gallows," or something along those lines. And you found a package and were espied by a roguish figure who you then accosted in an alleyway and attempted to stab. Didn't go so well for Tarq. You parted ways, unfortunately, with potential threats of future violence, and kind of left that chapter open. Shortly thereafter, you went to the Greymare Public House to get some grog and food, and a spectacle was made during that time as attempted, once again, led by Tarq, kind of leading the charge on robbing some soldiers, which he successfully did in the end, only after an excellent distraction from our friend Frax, which unfortunately did seem to draw the attentions of the surrounding Templars. So we left off with the large kind of knight figure who you guys had seen around town, who would seem to recognize a little bit of what Fraxinus was about, and he kind of walked into the tavern and announced himself and said to come with him, Fraxinus, because of the disturbance that you guys caused. And I'm so sorry, but my phone will not stop, so I'm gonna step away for 1 second.
That's fine. I love that. I totally got through that without her mentioning anything about my bulimic display of barfing everywhere. That's so good. I'm excited.
Okay.
I was seriously glad I was putting that in Discord because I was convinced that I had a tab open somewhere that was doing that.
I started looking at my phone and started looking at all my tabs to make sure it wasn't me.
Yeah.
The alarm was going off for 3 minutes straight, so that was great. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's all good.
But yeah, so we're back. And I think the scene kind of begins with the empty tavern. And Frax, you are sitting still, I believe, at the table with your half-eaten food and sort of making eye contact with this, heavily armored knight. What do you do?
Just kind of like his eyes are kind of sliding over and sort of because he sees him there and he's like at least acknowledging the knight's existence, but he's still very invested in the food in front of him.
So do you continue eating?
Well, as long as he can, yeah.
And I believe Tarq and Gormut, you guys were outside kind of like watching, like peeking into the tavern. Is that right?
Yeah, I was covered up with a tarp, I think, and I was kind of watching.
Yeah, because that noble was searching for us.
Yeah.
So we hid and I covered him with a tarp.
So you guys are in the alleyway beside the Greymare Public House. And you kind of, the two of you can kind of see like all of the soldiers are just kind of like waiting outside. And inside of the tavern, this knight, he kind of like looks at you, Frax, as you continue to like, put food in your mouth. And he kind of just stands there for a minute. And then he just kind of like crosses his arms at your leisure, of course.
Frax licks his fingers and pushes this plate away. Puts another big bite in his mouth, and then pushes the chair back, stands up, and turns to, in a kind of like almost like even like a very servitile sort of manner. He turns and he faces the knight of the Blazing Order.
Yeah. He there's like an awkward moment of silence as you finish up and rise, and he's kind of like watching your movements. And as when you're finally stood up, he kind of like nods at you and then just sort of like steps to the side, like as if, revealing the doorway to you, kind of gesturing with his body so that you exit.
Frax just turns and goes. He walks at a steady pace out the door.
Yeah. So, love that intelligence check.
Yeah.
So, as you exit back into the, I would say this is probably getting into the evening of the day. The sun is starting to dip down. I think you guys spent like a little while in the tavern, and it was just starting to get to that point where it was picking up for the evening when all of this went down. So you kind of step out into that like small crowd of people who were, I think, a little scared by your spellcraft last session. And the remaining Templars are kind of like flanking either side of the door. They're not hostile. No one has weapons drawn. They're just kind of like waiting. And you kind of walk past like at least like, 2 or 3 people on each side.
As Frax walks out and sees the crowd kind of staring at him, he really intensely stares back.
I would have to ask. So my intelligence check was to figure out if I would realize how stupid my idea was, and I didn't. Do we see him come out and he's being escorted?
Yeah, so I think Frax, as you exit, the knight follows right behind you, just by like a step or two, and he kind of like quickly outpaces you and kind of starts walking. So you would be coming out of the entrance here. I think I'm just going to move your token. So you and Gormut and Tarq are over here. And so this guy kind of is walking in the direction of the church and the Templary, and kind of expecting you to follow. So Gormut and Tarq, you guys kind of see as the two of them like walk this away. They pass by the alleyway.
Tarq, I got an idea. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Like, I just burst out of this, tarp, let it cast off to the side. Uncle,
Uncle, oh, there you are. Hey, come back. What are you doing? Stop following strangers. And I look back at Tarq like, right? 2 thumbs up, kind of, Uncle. Oh, I'm really sorry, my lord. He's very ill. Yeah, he's mine.
Make a deception.
If I win, watch me nat 20. Hang on a second, my mouse is doing weird things. Deception. Here we go.
Come on.
Oh, so 13. 13. Shit.
So the knight kind of like stops short as you burst out like right beside them, and he kind of like looks at you like, and then he like you guys see his eyes kind of narrow, and then he looks at Frax and then looks back to you.
Frax is going to look Gormut up and down, and just roll his eyes in a very exaggerated manner. Looking to the knight, Frax says, I've obviously burnt the brain of this one. Probably should get me out of here. The locals are starting to get a little charged now.
Yeah, he like looks at you and kind of just gives like a almost despairing like and he nods and he kind of like steps between Gormut and Frax and like continues to like usher you onwards. I think a couple of the Templars in this moment, Gormut, they kind of like look at you, and one of them at least has like a hand like on a weapon, and they kind of look at you and they're like, "No more disturbances. This is our business. Step aside."
Well, see, the problem with this situation is I've got to go with him because I am honor bound to protect his life. So I'll be going along. Savvy?
Tarq, are you visible here?
No, I would remain hidden at this moment. I'm gonna kind of like
dick.
still hide. I'm gonna follow basically wherever Gormut goes from here.
Okay.
Stealthily hidden.
For sure. And I think you had like a pretty insane stealth check from last time. I don't 100% remember, but it was oh yeah, you got like a 23.
23.
Yeah. So yeah, so this knight kind of like, or this soldier kind of like looks at you, Gormut, up and down. Just make a persuasion check for me as well.
God, why is all this charisma related stuff going on? All right, pray for it. Pray for his stream. Pray for us. Here we go. Okay, that's a 4. That's a 4. Unless I have advantage, and then it's a 9. Can I spend a force point?
What'd you say?
I said, can I spend a force point, which isn't a thing in D&D.
Spend a Benny.
Yeah, can I have a Benny? Yeah.
Unfortunately, so I will be issuing inspiration during these sessions if you perform cool RP or cool amazing feats during combat or what have you. But none of you have done that yet. We'll get there. So unfortunately, with a 4, this guy kind of like goes, "Oh yeah, right, perfect. Come with me then," and he like grabs you and kind of like shoves you in between, not like, you know, like to hurt you, but he just kind of like snags your arm and like pulls you in, and the rest of the soldiers kind of group up around you.
The sort of mother like grabbing the son by the arm or something.
The soldiers, what are they from, an order, or are they just like a
these guys would be Order of the Spark.
I'm not in trouble, am I? He says, I'll go. I said I'll go with you, but I'm not. Did I do something wrong?
Oh, you'll be just fine there. Just try not to talk too much.
Looking for Tarq, and I don't see him.
Okay, 2 things. Make a perception check to look for Tarq, and then make an insight check on the guards.
Oh dear. Wisdom. That's another winner. All right. That's a 6 for perception. I don't see Tarq for sure. And what was the insight check?
Oh my god, yes, please.
A 3. Shit.
I cannot.
This is incredible.
I love Gormut so much. So yeah, Gormut, these cards are super hard to read. A lot of them have like super stern expressions on their face, so you can't really tell if you're actually in trouble or not. But if you continue following them, nothing bad happens. Yet. And you have absolutely no idea where Tarq is in this moment. And so I think the two of you at least, and the knight captain kind of wander on towards this area. So again, I'm just going to kind of move your tokens just to keep track. So you guys are escorted essentially to the Templary. Tarq, go ahead and give me a stealth roll.
All right.
Watch this stream. See what happens now. 20. You son of a...
Nice.
Look at that. Look at that.
Roll some stuff.
So good.
Some people are acting in their element.
Yeah.
I tried to act out of it last time and I got stabbed, so I'll stick with it this time.
Just quickly making perception checks for a couple of people, and I think you're fine because they both rolled real low. So yeah, you kind of like, what does it look like when Tarq like is sneaking?
Very obvious, like he's just like kind of like Pink Panther-esque, like he knows he's gonna get caught, but somehow doesn't. So I'll take the tarp that he threw and like sneak over between an alleyway, and then like sneak over to like these carts that are by this like church, and like hide by them, like move a box or something to hide behind.
The medieval Dungeons and Dragons equivalent of Solid Snake with his box. Tarq shortbread with a tarp. Perfect. So yeah, you are able to follow them. You see that they are taken into this building right here, the actual Templary. And I am exceedingly grateful that I just finished that map because so for the listeners, we had a little bit of a late start today because Lenora did not finish making her maps because I didn't know what these guys were going to get into tonight. So I did, but in the last minute. So
are there guards like standing at the door to this Templary? Well, like directly behind Gormut as they enter.
Yeah, let me go ahead. I'm just going to pull some tokens onto this map here, and then I will show you what is going on. Because you guys are going to be put on a map in a second. Oh, I am on the wrong layer. You guys don't want to be on the dynamic lighting layer, do you? Okay.
And do I see that noble that that dropped his coin purse?
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
That's how 16. It's done. That's how it's done.
You hear shouts coming from like the northern side of the road where you are, like up probably like 100 yards from you. With a 16, you can't make out what they're saying, but you definitely, it sounds like there are people looking for you still.
Okay. Then, since they're looking for me somewhere else, I'm going to sneak over and enter like I've just been part of the group.
Roll another stealth check for me, please.
Oh.
Oh no. Okay, so what does it look like when you fail the stealth check? Because that does not beat anyone's passive.
So I'm like hiding behind these boxes, and like I stand up, and like my coat catches on like the corner of the box, knocking it over, like spilling out somebody's like cabbage or something of the sort.
Oh, good.
I just kind of like freeze.
Yeah.
Look over at everyone.
Yeah.
So like 3 of the guards that were escorting Gormut kind of just stop and turn and look at you. And they just kind of stare at you for a minute. And then
that one too, he's with me as well.
The knight at the head of this sort of charge, the heavily armored guy, kind of just like, Frax, you kind of just see him like raise a hand to his head and just go like, oh god. Oh, by the flame. Yes, bring them all in, whatever. It's just all of you in now. And I'm just grabbing your tokens and then we will.
As I knock over the food, I'm going to try to like sleight of hand a piece of it.
Sleight of hand check real fast.
Yeah.
All right, let me just.
Oh, hey, Tarq. Where did you come from?
I've been keeping you safe from a distance.
Yeah,
Can you guys see this map?
I'm beginning to think that Frax might be protecting us more than we are protecting him.
Well, we're all safe right now, so.
I think that's about to change.
So you stash your cabbage, and then the guards kind of, there would be a couple more of them.
Oh. Oh, no.
Yeah. So, you guys can see this, right? Everybody's good?
Yeah, it looks good.
All right.
Yeah, you're on the right layer this time, Jason, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's what I was checking. I was really, really worried that I was like, oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to see. So I'm like hyper vigilant about it now. So yeah, you guys are sort of escorted into this building, and I will remove dynamic lighting on the door because you guys are going to walk right in there. And okay, so yeah, this guy kind of like ushers you inside, and Frax, you guys can feel free to move your tokens a little bit, but the guards are kind of like keeping you, the three of you, like in like trained towards the door. So yeah.
Frax enters and
Yeah.
sort of like meanders over to the brazier, if that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Or is it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a brazier there. Gormut, you follow inside, and Tarq. And so these guards actually, like, once you've been escorted into the building, it looks like they kind of station outside. And you see a couple of them like wander towards this like training area. You see there's like an archer kind of practicing, like a couple Order of the Sparks people. So you definitely see that there are like guards around, but not all of them are following you into the building. And the knight kind of like, as soon as the three of you are in, one of these guys shuts the door behind you. And he kind of like turns to the three of you and is just kind of like, right, well, you all have a bit of explaining to do. Let's start with you. And he points to Frax. What is your business here?
Frax is kind of spacing out. He's looking into the flames of the brazier, sort of passively, kind of like analyzing like the what's burning in the brazier.
It looks like a very good like low burning bed of embers of like a couple of logs. There's a couple of like slightly fresher ones. It's not like a big blaze. It's just sort of like a, you know, you've seen braziers like this. They oftentimes are found in establishments where the gazing flame exists.
After a moment, he turns and he regards the questioner.
Yeah, he's like looking at you, kind of like, almost like hands over chest, almost like exactly like what Jason's doing. He's kind of like a hand to the beard, and kind of has that expression on his face, like regarding you back. And there's this kind of moment of tension, and he goes, "You are a long way from. Well, I presume you're a long way from where you were supposed to be. Can you tell me what interest you have here in Lothenburg?"
It's a pretty town, but to tell you the truth, I mostly just slipped through the cracks on this one.
I see. He kind of turns to the person like beside him. There's like a little clerical like person at the desk here. There's like a couple of quills scattered around, and you see that there's like just a couple of like tomes and sheets of paper. It looks like some bureaucratic documents. He kind of turns to this person and takes a step back and like leans over to them and whispers something. Everybody give me a quick perception check.
Oh, what in the world?
Ooh.
Gormut, 19?
I'm thoroughly distracted by something.
The cabbage that you tried to stuff
Yeah,
into your...
I'm still trying to like work it into my my bag.
It's like
Without it being
chafing.
like super duper obvious. So Tarq, you do not hear this, and Frax, I don't think you catch all of it. Maybe like bits and pieces. So you kind of hear like a Lamplighter, and found from Umber Hall, and and you kind of catch a few words, but Jason, Gormut, you actually hear, you hear like, we're going to have to keep eyes on this one. This Lamplighter, I don't think he's supposed to be here. I haven't received any sort of messages from Umber Hall as for a deployment of a Lamplighter here. Just keep an eye on him, but for now. And then he kind of like steps back up towards you, and then looks directly at you, Gormut, and again crossing the arms, just goes, and you say you have been hired on to protect this man?
So Gormut would, you know how you just stand too tall? He would puff up a bit, not in a violent, threatening way, but I want to assert my tallerness than this man, if that's possible. I'm protecting him.
Just make a performance check for fun.
9.
If it helps with like a assist, like Frax is just sort of thumbing Gormut and nodding.
Yeah, we'll say that was advantage, but he still only got 11, so yeah. It's like you definitely. I really like this moment because you like puff yourself up, and you're huge. And then this knight in front of you is definitely not as large as you, but he's like standing like really straight, and he's got like, you know, he's wearing like plate, and you can see he's got like muscles and stuff, and so you're just kind of both standing there like both really like you know meaty dudes. But one of you has like plate mail and a beautiful greatsword, and you're just like
dirty and gross. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just super great. And he goes, right, of course. The Lamplighters do need protection. And he like glances at Frax a little bit and just kind of quietly follows it up with, and sometimes supervision. And you, Master Dwarf, what are you with? He kind of just gestures like, what?
Tarq just kind of smiles with his like horribly rotten teeth. He's like missing a tooth. He's like, yeah.
Love you guys so much. Yeah, so this knight just kind of goes, right, yes, well, at this time none of you have broken any laws. However, my men will have their eyes on you, and if you so much as lift a finger, do anything silly or stupid or jeopardize the people of this township, which is under my control, I will have you locked up in the cells just beyond. And he like gestures to the doors behind him, like over here. And when he looks, oh, go ahead.
Frax is kind of like staring at him, like a little unfazed by that subtle threat. And this town is perfectly under control?
Is under my jurisdiction at this moment, yes.
Begging your pardon,
nothing
sir.
Amiss? There's nothing in question?
What are you driving at?
I can have it on good authority that you have a criminal element residing in this town.
I glance over at Tarq. Instinctively, I don't mean to, but I'm kind of like, right.
I just like look down. I just like look down, averting all eye contact from anyone. Yeah. This is a nice wood floor. I'm impressed.
Yeah, so to Frax, he like kind of raises an eyebrow and goes, and what criminal activity might that be? Short of unwieldy spell casting in a tavern.
All I do to make sure that this town goes well, and in my time here, listen, my good man, pointing at Tarq, was stabbed in a rude altercation hardly more than an argument. I had to cauterize the wound.
Yeah, it was one of them tieflings, and I think his name was Virgil. It started with a V, right? Tarq, was it Virgil? No, Vincent. Yeah.
The knight kind of looks over back at this like dude over here, like quizzically after you say this, and you guys see this guy just gives him a look like, oh no. And then he looks back to you guys and he goes, oh, criminals stabbing criminals, not necessarily my concern.
As you said, I haven't broken any laws. So
Not-
how am I a criminal?
Not yet. Not that we've seen. But, well. And he kind of like looks at your stab wound. Only a few ways.
Obvious rip in my shirt.
Yeah,
Where
like,
I was stabbed.
So blood.
You see the little bit of cabbage like peeking out of it, and where I just like stuffed in my shirt.
Yeah.
But the cure wounds that Fraxinus cast might have even like singed his shirt just a tiny bit as he cauterized it.
Just a burnt, bloody hole in your shirt that like has soaked blood down your side.
There's like one clear piece of skin. There's just hair like pressing out on other parts of it.
Gross.
Yeah, so he says, well, and he kind of steps towards you guys a little bit, and he goes, my name is Lord Dornsveld, and I currently have been dispatched to Lothenburg to oversee its templary. As I said, any further disturbances perpetrated by the three of you, and I will have you back here in my cells.
Is this
Master
a guy
Lamplighter.
Is this a
They
guy that was
stay
putting
warm.
the notice on the board? Is this that guy?
Not the same guy.
Okay, not the same guy.
This guy is new to town.
Okay.
Well,
I don't
what was
think any-
he just introduced himself? What was his name?
Dornsfeld.
Dornsveld. I will pop it in the chat. And he is let you guys know that he is a lord as well. Actually, I would say Tarq, go ahead and give me a history check. Also, Gormut, you can do this as
Oh.
well.
19.
Damn.
Nice.
History. What? Wait for it. It's an intelligence. It's going to be 12.
Not super bad.
Yeah.
Gormut, I don't think you really pick up on this. You've definitely, you've dealt with lords before here and there in your life, or, heard of them before in your life. But I think it definitely strikes you as like, oh, he's probably not from around here. But Tarq, you definitely there's a moment where he introduces himself, says his name. You distinctly recognize that this guy, the name Dormsveld, the way he carries himself, his armor, it all just speaks very strongly of someone from the capital. So this guy has been presumably dispatched from Kindlehold, and that just kind of it kind of clicks when he says his name and title. So yeah, he finishes up, and he said, "Master Lamplighter," and he's kind of looking at you, and he goes, "I trust that your business here is above board. As a follower of the flame, I do not mean to come across as confrontational, but as I said,
All I can say as a lamplighter is that if I am here, I am supposed to be here, and I am just questioning why I have not yet been received. There must be something, anything on your minds that you would need my services for." At that sort of last statement, the brazier behind Fraxinus sort of surges up, just not like in an explosive way, but just like the room gets a little brighter, a little warmer for just a second before flowing back down.
yeah. He looks at you and he nods, and he goes, "Just earlier today, a notice was posted that we are indeed recruiting our efforts in this area. We need to bolster our ranks. Having someone of your skill set would certainly be advantageous to our endeavors.
And so, finally, my purpose here is revealed. Of course, my men here will be accompanying me on this task.
He like looks the two of you, like the other two, up and down again, and he kind of just is like, this can be arranged. However, the retainer of 50 gilt will not be paid out to each of you. As a group, 1 payment. And then?
1 payment, and you expect these men to go and deal with this matter for you without the necessary equipment?
They have equipment. They have. And he like gestures to
I pointed my
the sword.
I got this. Yeah. And a hammer too.
He like nods at you, Gormut, and gestures to you, Frax. He goes, you should not need any equipment. You've already demonstrated your skill, and, well... And he looks at Tarq and he goes, perhaps he could learn a thing or two about fighting, and that would be payment enough. However, once the job is completed, you will each receive an additional stipend, to be determined after the job is done, and we return here to Lothenburg.
Sir, what's a stipend? Is that bigger than a gelt or no?
He like gives you a look like, oh, son, and he goes, well, yes, it is bigger than a gelt.
Wow.
Perhaps far larger than a gelt, should the performance of all of you be satisfactory.
I want to be rich. I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I'm on board. I think. I don't know.
Again, it coincides with the successful mission, and
75 gilt.
Provided you all make it back alive. And he like looks at you, Tarq.
It's giving us each half.
It shall be discussed. Can we count on you to report?
Of course! But before he even finishes, I just say of course and smile.
Excellent. Then report back here at dawn in 2 days. You will receive your payouts, and we will depart.
Fraxinus stands at like almost like a very attentive position, at a very servile one sort of that would be awaiting a dismissal or a command. But he doesn't say anything as he stares towards the Lord.
He looks at Gormut for a minute. What is Gormut doing? Body language wise?
I am still trying to sort out, like, what do they need done? Like, who, because I don't get any of the arrangement that's gone on so far, but I can't think of like having gelt in my hand. And so I've let my guard down to a certain extent, and I'm sort of daydreaming almost. And so if he stares at me for too long, I'll be, what? You're right.
2 days time.
For what?
Dawn. Departing. He looks at Tarq.
Just to come back here.
He'll be there.
You're going to give me a pile of gold to just come back here in 2 days?
Your gold will be paid upon the departure from Lothenburg with the rest of our gathered might.
Oh, yeah, right. If you just give me the gold, I'm leaving. You are right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he again kind of just does like a yes, I'm aware. Like
I reach out to shake his hand like a warrior's handshake.
Make a persuasion check.
With my grimy hands. My
I could just see him like spitting in his hand and like reaching.
Oh yeah. So with a 7, yeah, he spits it. He spits some stringy stuff. Yeah.
He
It'd be rude not to shake it.
Yeah, he reaches for your hand and he does his best to avoid like actually touching your palm. He kind of does like a weird like
That kind of weird hand. So I'm like, ugh.
And then he wipes his gloved hand back on his greaves, I guess. Yeah, and he goes,
So I serve the church then, eh? Who'd have thought? Mom would be proud. I go stand by the door.
Yes, additional to your payment of 50 gelt, we will
75.
No, Master Dwarf, 50, as agreed upon, as the payment for the 3 of you, a one-time installment fee for the Lamplighter and his companions, and then perhaps additional compensation when we return to Lothenburg after our mission is complete. Again, we shall discuss along the way, based on your performance.
I just gonna stare him down.
Stares you down. Make an intimidation check. I would say also at disadvantage. Man, yeah, he stares you down and he just like doesn't flinch until, and it's just this long silence. The guy next to him, actually, the little like scribe guard, just kind of like and like scribble something down. I want everybody quickly to just give me perception checks, please.
21.
Nice.
20.
Damn.
Oh
Yeah.
All of you guys.
Rock
Hell yeah. So you hear just during this, I love fictionally, it makes perfect sense that you'd all hear this during this awkward long silence. You just hear like from the door where he gestured that the cells were, you hear this sort of like muffled voice just being like, "Let me out. I didn't do anything. Just let me out. It's ridiculous." And that's all you guys hear.
What kind of voice was it?
It sounded female. Maybe like a little bit of an accent, but it's hard to tell from here.
Frax is still standing there, like at attention.
Yeah.
He says to the Lord, "Is that all?"
Of course. Again, 2 days' time, dawn, we depart. Upon the arrival of, well, the rest of my men. And you should arrive upon that day ready to travel, as we will be trekking into the woods for some time. And he kind of like steps back away from you guys and begins to like kind of go deeper into the fortress. And then he kind of stops and turns back and he goes, "I truly hope that none of you are afraid of stepping beyond the protection of the lighthouses. The flame burns away the darkness, but sometimes we must rekindle that flame." And then he kind of turns away and walks into this room.
As soon as he leaves the view of the room, Fraxinus spins on his heel. The brazier next to him snuffs, and he walks with throwing his hood up out the door.
Yeah, he looks fucking sick as hell. And I think this guy, like at Gormut and Tarq, is because as like you guys are like turning to leave, this guy just goes, "Huh!"
Yeah, so
just a little startled.
Is there anything on the desk? Well, like what was all on the desk? Well, because the light just went out, so he's probably not able to see. Is there anything good on the desk?
You have dark vision.
I do.
Master Dwarf. And it's also daylight, so there's still light.
No.
But
So it's
yeah.
not too dark.
Go ahead and give me another perception check real fast.
Another 20.
Yeah. Tarq, I feel like you probably have a decent enough like knowledge of like what to look for when looking for like valuable things. It seems like this is not really tracking like money or anything like that. Like nothing that you'd initially be interested in. It's mostly like resources and people. Like it has like a ledger of like different names from all around the town. You recognize maybe some of them that you've just like overheard at the tavern.
Are our names on on this list? Like this is people who would be going.
You did not give your names, I don't believe. So no.
We're just fodder. So I would sort of sneak my way over, if I not sneak, but just sort of nonchalantly walk as Tarq's kind of, and I'm just like craning my neck toward this door to try to figure out where this "let me out" sound came from.
As soon as you start moving that way, that guy is immediately like, "Sir, please
Sit
refrain."
down, I say. I'm going to give him a big
Oh,
brawl.
no.
Make an intimidation check.
Come on, that's a 7.
Boy.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, he like stands up and like moves in between you and the door. Like he like runs in between you and he goes, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't let you in there."
Well, I don't want to go in there. Just trying to figure out who's in there. She said she didn't do nothing. I thought maybe I'd look into that.
"That's not your business, sir, please." And he like gestures towards the door over here.
But she
Just kind of start
sounded.
looking at the stuff on the desk more intently.
It sounded like a girl.
Can I have both of you just
Leave. Yes.
I would say, Gormut, give me a performance check because I want to know how much of a ruckus you're making as far as like, are you just talking to this guy? Like,
13.
how loud are you being?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be overly loud. I'm just very curious. Like he's not trying necessarily to intimidate the guy beyond the sit down comment. He's just
Okay.
like, real interested.
Yeah. Tarq, go ahead and give me another stealth roll.
I'm not trying to sneak. I'm just looking at what's on the desk.
Okay. So you're not being stealthy. You just walk over and
I'm just walking over and start looking. Like,
so the guard goes, "Sir, it is not within your right to determine the workings of the Templary. We are conducting our own investigation on this woman's crime, and it is none of your concern. Now, please." And he taps on the door behind him, and from without, another guard kind of comes out, and they both stand there.
Right. Don't get your swords in the water. I was just wanting to know what was going on. Anytime I hear a young lady bellowing for help, I'm going to come to the rescue. And if it's... Oh, God, he's gone. All right. Well, good luck, ma'am, with your burning at the stake or whatever they do to you. I walk away.
Give me a quick perception check as you turn to go.
Yeah. Perception. Sorry, that was
Perception.
persuasion. Yeah, it was wrong click. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Eight.
The only thing you notice is that this guy kind of turns to this guy and then says something, and then this guy kind of gives a little snigger, and then they start returning to their posts as they watch you leave. Well, this guy I think stays here, but this guy starts to walk back up, and then sees Tarq and just goes, "Hey, get away from the desk!"
we're all on the same team here.
Tarq, make a quick investigation check for me, please.
Maybe.
Oh, jeez. Dice are horrible. Oh no.
So messy. Yeah, he goes, "Get away from the desk, you!" And he rushes up and kind of starts to physically remove you.
We're all on the same team.
He goes, "Get out! Get out! I'll call the other guards."
All right.
So you guys both leave, I presume?
Yeah. Do I see Frax somewhere? Because I'm kind of panicked because he might have gotten himself into trouble, and I'm taking this bond seriously. I kind of look out there. Is he around?
Frax, as soon as you walk out, are you walking out?
Yeah, just sort of plunging outward. So if you're right there, I might even trip over you.
He has walked past these guards that were outside, and he is dancing with tambourine in hand, kind of top heavy, with the shifting weight underneath his robes, in the sort of a swaying style unrhythmically tapping the tambourine. Just in the middle of the road, right in front of the guards. And it's a sort of an ostentatious display of freedom.
I'm not going to do that. I kind of stand nearby, cross my arms, and nod my head to the beat. Is there, you said it was non-rhythmically, so it's just like bad.
Very, very bad tapping of this tambourine. Very noisy, very, very loud, but not necessarily musical.
Kind of look around and grin at I'm guessing like the guards that are out there, just like
all their uncomfort that they're having. I just kind of smile. You're muted.
You're
muted, Len.
Back? Is that
yeah,
again?
You're back.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, they're just baffled, and they are staring at you and just watching.
Hey, Tarq, you should ask them to put us up in the inn for the next couple of days. You could talk them into
Nah,
that.
we'll be okay.
I don't want to sleep out in the rain anymore.
Let's go
Tarq,
get
it's
some more
so
ale.
wet out here. It's making me itch.
We won't be in the rain.
That's what you said the last 2 nights, and I've been in the rain, except when you would cover me with a tarp, and then it gets really...
Remember what I gave you in the alley? The gold.
I fish it out of my...
No,
Well,
not yet.
I'm going to get a room at the inn.
We're gonna go get a room at the inn.
So, did the three of you go back, or is Frax? Are you just following these guys after are you still dancing? Like, what is he doing?
When they walk past, he very fast taps the tambourine, then just stops, turns on the dime, and walks in their direction.
Excellent. Yeah, there are no words from the guards after this display. They're all just like staring, completely dumbfounded, just like absolutely speechless. And the three of you make your way back to the main part of town. So I'll pop you back over there. Yeah, so you guys just head directly to the inn, or anything else? It's pretty late in the day. I think the sun is pretty much set. So lanterns are starting to be lit around town, and kind of unfortunate the mist is still kind of rolling through, giving you that uncomfortable damp feeling.
so Len, will we have any idea, or better yet, so Tarq may, does Gormut have any earthly idea what a Lamplighter is? Like, is he up on the lore, or is this like...
Yeah, go ahead and roll me. I think this would be a history check.
11.
And Tarq, if you want to roll this, you can as well.
I have no fucking idea. I'm excited. I have the 6 gold. I'm gonna put us up in a hotel for 2 days and buy a whole bunch of ale and
Yeah.
It's got his priorities
2
straight.
days of living large.
Absolutely. The way I think what I'll give to you is this, Gormut. The way that the knight addressed Frax, it seemed as though it might have been like something to do with one of the orders of the Gazing Flame. But it's hard to say because you've never heard about it. You haven't really you've never seen anyone like Fraxinus. You never would have even thought that he was part of like any organization. But it seems as though this knight recognized something about your friend.
Like, just out of the way you portrayed him, I think that Gormut got that the level of respect that was given to him was, for one, out of place if he's just a homeless guy, and way better than what we got. I figure like he glowered at us and he's kind of like, yeah, dirty old lamplighter kind of thing. But okay, so this is troubling Gormut as he walks along, and he's just trying to figure out like, why don't yeah.
So the three of you make your way to the public house again. Again, you can guys kind of feel free to move your tokens around the map if you want. And I will say, as you are entering the public house, go ahead and give me a perception check, all three of you.
Eyes are open wide.
3. There you go.
So Tarq and Frax, I think you both kind of notice that there's been another bulletin posted. And I will open up the doc here. I think you guys have access to the notice board, but I will do a quick show to players.
Nice.
So this also tracks perfectly because Gormut cannot canonically read. So the two of you notice this. Notice there is a new posting that says, there's an horrible stink coming from the old well out near the abandoned mill, spooking my livestock, something awful. I'll pay 5 damn geld to whoever gets rid of whatever's causing that horrible stench. So that is a new notice since you guys checked it last.
It's probably Fraxinus sleeping near the old well.
So yeah.
Frax, once again, when he walks past the notice board, he will walk up to it and just sort of trace his finger along it, but retract his hand and turn to go follow Gormut into the tavern.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys get into the tavern. You notice that so after the commotion that you caused earlier, unfortunately, none of the more finely dressed soldierlings are there. It seems as though that one guy is still really pissed about losing the money that mom and dad gave him. So you go in and it's the usual crowd. You guys have probably been here before. You see the bartender / proprietress, Margan. She's selling drinks as usual. Gretchen, her sister, is sort of helping her when necessary, but mostly working on food prep. Sir Charlin is already half in the bag in the corner. And there's a couple other townsfolk kind of milling about.
We'll take 3 rooms for 2 days. Tarq says proudly.
Yeah. So you do you put money on the counter?
Oh yeah, I pull out my little bag of gelt.
Yeah. So Margan looks at you and she goes, "Right. Okay then. Suddenly he has money." Well, unfortunately, there's only 2 rooms available, so you can have the 2 rooms for, this gelt will cover your 2-night stay for each room. That's totally fine. It's plenty of money for me. But, yeah, only 2 rooms, so tough luck.
We work for the nights.
Right, and the nights are the other ones renting my rooms right now, so you're going to have to share.
Wait, I got this. I held up my 1 coin.
Right, no, so mathematically.
That's not a strong suit.
I only have a certain amount of rooms in the tavern currently, and the rest of them are full. And as much as I like you guys, she rolls her eyes, you're gonna have to settle for either the 2 rooms.
You 2 can share. I look over at Fraxinus and Gormut.
I do.
Frax seems lost in thought.
I do go.
Yeah, they'll share.
Yeah, that's
right.
fine.
And she takes the gold.
Oh, and that's food and drink for the next 2 days.
She eyes you a little bit and she goes, 5 marks.
Who's she eyeing? Gormut?
Tarq.
Oh. I slide my coin back.
I put my actual money there.
So I think Tarq, you probably know that she's ripping you off a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's okay. The 6 gelt aren't mine, so I'm okay with spending them.
Fair enough. Yeah, so you guys have food and lodging for the next 2 days. What do you guys do with your evening? Do you guys just get shit-faced?
Absolutely shit-faced.
Blind drunk, yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Frax, what do you do?
Frax kind of exists in the public room for a bit, kind of wandering between tables, probably getting unsociably close to a few folks and their belongings, and just I'm eyeing them weirdly. Not necessarily taking anything, but just he's being he's studying their reactions before finding his way upstairs and either to whenever like one of the other two is in the room upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know though. Do you guys go? So Gormut and Tark, do you guys like actually go use the room, or do you drink till you like basically pass out? And
Oh
stuff?
no, I'm in the
Drink till I
common room
basically
until they
pass
kick me
out.
out. Yeah, I'm looking. There's probably some music or something like dancing around or anything going on. Is it entertainment wise?
Yeah. So there is one like young guy who has like a lute in the corner. He's not very good. His name is Marcus. You've seen him around before, and he just kind of like he comes and plays. It's hard to tell. He might be related to Morgan, and she just like lets him do this, but he's kind of like so.
He's like, I picture him as, you know what? I'm gonna act like that guy at the metal show who likes the worst metal band. Right? He's like, that's his favorite band. So he's just like there stomping his foot and clapping in probably an arrhythmic way and just having a ball.
And the more Tark gets hammered, the more I attempt to clap along.
Yeah. I mean, I would say you guys, either one of you can do this, but you can give me a performance check with advantage to see if you can get other people to kind of like join in the reverie.
Would I roll like a 1?
Oh, you're really good. So 17.
Nice.
Tark, you're already pretty tanked.
Yeah, he's already
Not
tanked.
looking super good. But yeah, Gormut, after a while, like a couple of different groups of people come in. You see there's a Surim from the library. There's like a couple of like young farmers who kind of come and go. So there's like a fair crowd in here tonight. And as you're getting in your cups and you're kind of like, you know, dancing a little bit, and even if it's a rhythmic, you can tell that Marcus the Bard is kind of like really excited that somebody likes his music at all. And so he does a pretty good job later on. Like he gets into it and he kind of like starts playing with more fervor, and a couple people start, you know, having a dance and a good drink, and it's actually a pretty good night. Can I have Frax, are you still downstairs at this point or no?
Yeah, if they're still downstairs, he's not going to try to navigate to the room himself. He's probably just sitting at someone else's table, not
just like
just looking, not even like watching the rubber, just like looking at the people at the table.
So I think you find yourself across from Sir Charlin, who is just so intoxicated at this point. He's like doing the like just like nodding off into his cup thing. You're just kind of like, every now and again he'll like look up at you and be like, and in my day it was totally different, and like he's just kind of like he's having a conversation with you that he's mostly having in his own head, and then like spewing snippets out at you. And can I have all of you give me another perception check, the most frequently used skill in D&D?
Oh, natural 20,
damn,
25.
15.
I'm hammered, but I'm looking right at it.
Lenora is going to make a mental note to herself to raise the perception DCs for Tark.
Yeah, no shit.
Because this was at least this
That's
was
the only thing I could roll.
I know, you're doing very well. You've rolled like 3 20s on perception. It's so good. So nobody else notices this, but at one point, Tark, even as tanked as you are, it's like, and you're not doing a very good job dancing, but I think you have an eye for this stuff, and even in your like drunken stupor, you just kind of like keep tabs on the people who are coming and going from the bar. And at one point, you see someone totally unfamiliar to you, very like a hooded figure. You can't make out any of their features. It does not look like the same, you know, attire that Vincent was wearing. Get that immediately with your 25. But you see, I would say similar like physical builds to that individual, like kind of slender and like moving very like expertly, like very swiftly through the door, like nods at the bouncer Boyd, the big half orc guy who's there, and kind of like slips in and immediately does the like they do the Aragorn, you know, Lord of the Rings thing where they post up in a shady corner and like start smoking a pipe or it would be a cigarillo, I guess. But you just like notice them, and I don't think anyone else does.
So I'll grab another ale. and I'll just kind of walk over. Who are you, friend? And I'll sit it down in front of him.
Yeah, so you do this, and the figure kind of like watches this happen, and they don't even like flinch when you do that. And you see very, very like they've got the like hood pulled down, so you only see like this much. But from what you can tell, it looks a bit feminine. And you see they kind of like stop smoking and like look at you from beneath their hood, and they go, "I'm not your friend. What are you doing at my table?"
Well, I'm offering you a drink, friend.
Yeah, she reaches out and she takes it, and you immediately notice now that her hand kind of falls out of the shadows and into more of the torchlight inside. Her hand is like this super dark, like purplish color. And you see just barely carrying over your good perception. She's got like teeny tiny little fangs.
Oh shit.
She takes the cup from you and she goes, "Thank you for the drink. Now leave, please."
Right. I'll just kind of get up and walk away, eyeing her very, very carefully from across the bar now.
I think Gormut kind of scoots around as he's dancing to this song and just literally stoops way down and locks elbows with Tarq and starts kind of spitting around.
And Tarq is just in for it, as trashed as he is. That little distraction is meaningless to him at this point. And he's right into dancing with Gormut.
Strike out again, he says. Me too.
If you guys want to make another performance check again.
It's just
good. Absolutely.
I love it.
Oh, come on now. Spam clicking. Where's performance coming in?
What does
that was
Fraxinus see?
2. I think I fall down. I think that's the 2. I think I trip over Tarq and just
we
face
both
plant.
fall down and just bust out laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Frax, you see your friends are a bit too intoxicated to properly function dance-wise any longer. And I think probably shortly after you guys tumble, Margan at the bar says, "Right, that's enough. Time for you two to get out of the bar. Go upstairs. Not cleaning up any vomit tonight."
That's what you think, I say. And laugh.
If you stay down, I'm going to make you roll Constitution saving throws for drinking. So that's up to you.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll do a wisdom check and let's see if he intuits. All right, no, he gets it. He's feeling a little. He's bloated. He hasn't had a bite. We haven't had anything to eat. I don't think. I've just been drinking.
I mean, you guys could get food.
I pull out the piece of cabbage and I hand it to him.
Oh, poor Fraxinus, right? I eat that raw cabbage. And I'll go pass out, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. Frax, you see this happen. Are you, because you've had food paid for, so I imagine that Fraxinus is probably like eating real food and then just watching these two eat like garbage.
He has taken advantage of the service throughout the night, just nodding whenever Margan came by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now that they're being ushered upstairs, he stands up from Sir Charlin's table and kind of like what is Sir Charlin wearing?
He's wearing like a pretty basic garb, like a rough, like kind of like rough cotton shirt. And he's got like leather trousers on, big, like thick, scuffed up old boots that are kind of like the medieval equivalent of cowboy boots. And he's got just like an old tattered straw hat on that he sometimes like readjusts on his head.
As Frax walks by, he slightly grabs the hat and pulls it over Sir Charlin's eyes to sort of give him like a little bit of shade and darkness.
Aw, very sweet. He mutters something under his breath, like, "Oh, tonight." Yeah, and then you guys go up to your rooms. So the quarters are pretty decent. They're clean. No rats or spiders that you can see. They're not very like fancy. There's one singular kind of like rough bed in each of them. It's kind of like just like a shitty straw mattress suspended above the floor, and there's like a little small brazier in each room. So very, very basic, but they're comfortable and clean.
So Tark's gonna take, even as hammered as he is, he's super precautious about his stuff. So I'm gonna take my 100 ball bearings and lay him in front of my door and go to sleep.
That is the most primo rogue shit. Each of the 2 rooms, it's not a very big inn. So most of the rooms here also end up having windows as well. So each of you kind of can see out into the mist in the night and stuff. So be woken up by the morning light, presumably.
Yeah, we're on the 2nd floor. If you can climb up, you can have my stuff. If you're going through that much effort, you can have it.
Cool. So
Frax probably got up before Gormut.
Yeah, I think so.
Much earlier.
What kind of ruckus do I wake up to? I'd have to guess. Like, was I've been drooling all over my own arm. I'm sleeping like this, And what the hell's he doing? What is he doing?
Frax is in the corner of the room where he spent the night, and he's sitting cross-legged. He's no longer wearing his robe, and so he's basically nude except for some almost some rags around his crotch. His body very frail, skinny, a little bit of muscle tone, but not 0% body fat. Is completely caked in dust. This is as dusty as you've seen him. He is almost pure white.
I just imagine him waking up to a layer of baby powder across the entire room.
Yeah, he was not tidy as he did this too. So there's like a ring of dust around where he's sitting, and there are 4 candles lit, and he is just he's in a weird, almost like convoluted twisting of the arms, and it looks like he's resting his hands on his head, eyes shut.
Oi, what are you doing now?
I don't flick it at him. I just, oi!
Frax opens his eyes and
Is
looks
that
up
how you
around.
sleep? I'm sorry, I guess I fell asleep in the bed.
It's okay, I was thinking. Yes.
I've been thinking too. I've been meaning to ask you a question. What the hell is a lamplighter? Hear a lot about it.
At night, we make sure the lamps are lit.
All right, this is the problem I have. Right? I've not seen you light one single lamp since I've been here.
He pulls his hands away from his face, pulls them from his body, takes a big breath in, and with a slow exhale, the candles around him burn intensely so that their wax melts really, really fast.
Oh, that's not what I meant. Just calm down, all right? I just meant to say if...
Candles reduce back to normal.
All right, we'll talk about this again later. I just think I've got to have a shit and something to eat. Right.
So Tark gets up, still absolutely fucking thrashed from the other night. I had a 4 on my Constitution check to see how badly I was, and I walk over the door, completely forgetting about my ball bearings. I got a 15 on my deck save to save myself from falling down. So I'm like grab it. I'm like,
I think yeah, you do the thing where you're like, it's like in those old cartoons where you start to slip and your legs just go like do-do-do-do-do, and just like catch the door frame. You just make it. Just a quick question. Go ahead and give me a what would this be? Give me a perception check at disadvantage, Tark.
21.
Oh, at disadvantage.
Why did I bother? Yeah, your box is gone.
Oh, okay.
The box of the poisons.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
I didn't? Did I take one of those?
I
No, I
gave you. I thought I gave you one.
Did you give me the healing potion?
I gave you the potion, yeah, because you were able to identify what it was. I had no idea what any of them were.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So you have the healing potion
So
currently?
he has the healing potion.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, so the other 2 vials are gone. The box is gone. You do not know at what point in the night you lost it, but it is no longer on your person.
Wow.
Cool.
So, yeah, you guys have a whole day, and so 2 full days before you need to go and meet with the Templars at the Templary and depart. So you guys, I will say, you definitely have the opportunity to go around town and like talk to the other like guards and stuff. If you have any questions about the mission, some of them might be able to tell you more, because I know that like you guys didn't really like ask or anything, or like get the chance to ask, because that guy was kind of pissed at you. So you don't know anything about the mission other than the cryptic kind of like, you know, urgent
Trying to spook us.
situation. Yeah. So you also have, there's a couple of those bulletins, and yeah, I mean, there's always stuff to go investigate. So you just take. I'm gonna hand the reins over to you, and you guys just tell me what you're gonna do.
So, Tarq, I asked him, right? I asked him, what's a lamplighter? And I swear to the gods, the fire got this big, and the candle started. He stared at me like this. He stared at me like this, and it was just going down. And then I was like, all right, I got it, and it just calmed down. He's only about that big around. He covers himself in some white powder. He's fucked up.
Oh, I have to think he's here, like, kind of, right. So I'm gonna go get some boots. I hold my coin up. I want some proper
I'm gonna go
boots.
get breakfast.
Yeah, you guys can easily enough get breakfast. And afterwards, Gormut, you go into. I assume you go kind of like to the market and try and snag some general store goods.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Market Street right now is pretty, I would say it's still pretty sparse in the day because, again, the weather's like sort of inclement. It's not as bad as it was the day before, but still not a lot of like open air stuff going on. So there's a couple of little shops around, but specifically this one right here on the corner, this is a general store, which you can go and buy some goods. So easy enough to do. The proprietor is kind of just like this man in his like mid to late 40s, average looking dude, no distinguishing features. An anonymous NPC.
Anonymous.
I would say you've been in town for a bit. Have you come into the general store before?
I'd have to guess so, but for only small things. I'm really proud to be able to buy proper leather boots, though. I'm gonna get some, you know.
Yeah, totally. So you would know, I think, at least this guy. This guy is Gerald Pern, the guy who posted that notice on the board. He's the guy who runs the shop. So yeah, you walk in. He's got a selection of sort of like, you know, goods. He's got all the trappings of your starter D&D starter kits in the starter town. So weird. You can buy ball bearings, Tarq.
I got to pick up mine that I now threw all over my room.
That's
awesome.
That's like the worst task to do hungover. It's like,
And so tedious. He's like,
one.
just awful, terrible. So yeah, you're able to do it. So boots will cost you let me see, what's the price on boots? Let me look that up. Whoops, I can't type.
Tarq, I like your idea about talking to the gods, but I don't think I should be the one to say anything. I think we should have the.
I think we should have the Lamplighter do it.
Right. I think there's something more to him. I mean, we know there's something more to him, but I think there's something about them because the way they looked at him is compared to the way they looked at us. I'm proud to serve him.
Where are those two right now?
At the
General
General store.
If they're like anywhere near like a window or a door, you might see that Frax is now wandering about the town, robed.
Thankfully.
But he is beginning to sort of meander past the general store in the direction of the gypsum camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like let your allies know, or do you just kind of like walk past the general store and spy them?
He might have spotted them, but he just sort of continues moving through toward the camp.
All right. So Gormut, that's going to be 7 gelt. I'm sorry. Excuse me, 7 for tailored boots. You're a big dude, so they would cost you almost a full gelt because they're very nicely made, and they're probably had to be slightly adjusted for your size.
And I think, is there any possibility that I could be that customer where maybe they just cut me a break to get me out of there? Because I'm just telling them, like, I've never had boots like this before. These cloth shoes are all I've ever had. On account of I've got this ingrown toenail, and it's very difficult. I'm just like talking as they're fitting my shoe. Is there any way I can
go ahead and is there a way to do an annoyance check in 5e?
Do you want me to just charisma roll?
Persuasion with advantage.
Roll low on your persuasion.
Watch, I'm gonna roll a 1 again. No, 13. All right, well that's better than...
I think 13 will cut it. He'll give them to you for 5 marks.
Awesome.
Do you think? So I rolled a perception. Would my 13 be able to see Fraxinus walking by the general store?
That's up to Fraxinus. Like, is he being stealthy or
No. He is probably the most obtuse person in town right now. Like I feel like even if they didn't spot him, just like the general perception of everyone else, just taking in his visage was enough to alert everybody to some psychic level.
So I'll kind of like hurry Gormut up and like get him to stop talking for a moment so we can go catch up with Fraxinus.
Yeah. So you're able to do so. Fraxinus, are you just heading in the direction of the Gensum camp?
Let's see. He is, just sort of meandering. He's moving pretty slowly, almost like kind of like with a really weird cadence, almost as if he's dancing a little bit to a tune that's only in his head. Not really sure what the time signature is.
Is that is he trying to so like where let me rephrase. So you start heading down this way, and you've been through this part of town before. So again, you see there's like a little like herbalist shop. There's a tailor like over here. So there's a couple of things. Like this is basically the main market square with the general store heading up this area. You see the Templary. You see again there are a couple people outside, kind of like just shooting at the little practice dummies. A couple of guys are sparring. They kind of like some of them stop and stare at you, and you definitely see like some of them kind of like turn to the other and be like, that's the guy who was dancing the other night. So weird. And like, you kind of hear this and like you're just being stared at. But yeah, you make your way down towards the camp. Right now at this time of day, it's pretty I would say it's pretty quiet. Because it's still like early-ish morning, I would assume, unless you guys got up like pretty late, which you might have because you're all hungover. So that's up to you guys. Why don't you let me know, like, because Gormut and Tarq were pretty hungover. Do you think it would be like a little later?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so.
Okay. So yeah, then I guess the camp would be a bit more lively at this point then. So you see as you approach the circle of tents down here. And you guys can move your tokens. So I think Tarq and Frax, you would be, down towards this part of the map at this point. Gormut, do you follow, or are you still just like waiting
Oh,
on your
I
boots?
do, and I'm taking in every step because it squeaks with that new leather, and I'm just like, I'm following along. Yeah,
Disadvantage on stealth. No, I'm kidding.
that's fine. I'll take it. I got it. Yeah.
No, I think if this is probably going to make your steps a little lighter because they're like nice soft leather boots. So yeah, the three of you kind of see the camp and catch up to Fraxinus. So the camp right now, there's a little like entryway, and basically to describe it to you guys, the area is sort of a ring of covered caravans. There's a couple horses kind of like milling about like over here and over by the tree line over here. And a few giant oxen as well. Not literally giant oxen, but big beasts of burden. They're kind of just grazing. And as you see, upon approach, there's a couple like here in the front. There's like one pretty beautiful covered caravan. And it sort of has like herbs and like wood carvings like hung about outside and like wind chimes. Definitely like a living in caravan. And then as you approach and kind of like break the circle, you see a couple of people milling about. I think first thing that catches your eye is there's a group of children. And Tarq and Gormut, this is interesting to you because they are half elven children. They have the little pointed ears, and you can see one of them's like very young. She's like a little girl with like sort of this jet black hair. She's got these like little ears peeking out. She's missing a tooth, and she's like running around being like, "Mom, my brother stole my thingy," and like they're just like doing like annoying like kid stuff. And like one of them's a little bit older, kind of poking around the fire, being like, "No, it didn't." And so they're pretty much the only people who are like out and about right now, like in the middle of camp. But you see like over in this corner, there's almost like a tent set up, like a little shop, like it has a tarp over, and there's a couple of like little like crates and stuff. And you see, you see a weird looking dude. His skin is like the color of, it's like almost like a burnt sienna. And he has like this upturned nose and like kind of like an angry like impression on his brow, pointed ears, and kind of like a receding hairline, and kind of these like almost like slitted like predatory looking eyes. And he kind of like is like drumming his fingers on a crate, and he kind of like smoking a pipe, and he kind of like sees you guys come in and definitely like eyes you. Can I have all three of you roll me history, or I guess this could also be Arcana.
Natural 20 on history.
4.
I guess I'm so knowledgeable now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, actually, Tarq, this would probably be you who knows this inherently because of you were from Ashengate, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ashengate, you've probably seen a lot of these people before. This is a hobgoblin. He is, he looks to be maybe a little bit older, like in his maybe like mid to late 60s. But you can tell he kind of has like, he has that like type of musculature, which is like at one point he was probably like pretty like strong, and it's like he's a little bit older now and probably doesn't like work out as much. He's a little bit less so, but still like kind of thick forearms. He's got like a couple of tattoos, and he's wearing these like nice robes. And you kind of see this person, and I think you recognize him as I think you've definitely encountered exactly this type of person before because he is a merchant. A lot of hobgoblins in Ashengate, because at one point before the din fell over the country, there was a trade with the overseas across the slumbering sea. There was a nation. I don't think you know the name of the nation, but you definitely know that there at one point was a prosperous empire of hobgoblins from across the sea. And so when everything happened, a bunch of them got stranded here, and they kind of have made their way as merchants.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see this guy, he kind of eyes you. And the other person you see sort of, again, kind of like looking out from over here. I should have made a token for all of these people, and I eventually will if you guys encounter them again. But you see a half-elven woman, and she you can clearly tell she looks to be the mother of the three kids who are like running around here. Well, the two kids who are running around here, one of them is hanging back with her and like helping her. It looks like she's weaving something, and she's kind of like keeping an eye on her kids. And she kind of like sees you come to the camp and immediately gives you guys like a what the hell look, and then she sees Fraxinus and like gives you like a nod. But yeah, that is where you guys are.
I post up next to Frax. I'm uncomfortable here. Something about this setting I don't like, and he needs my protection anyway. He's very fragile.
Who was the person who gave me the nod?
So I think the hobgoblin sees you and gives you a nod. Like he doesn't like nod at you, but he kind of like just gives you like the like eye that's like I recognize who you are, and are you gonna come talk to me? Like he's watching you, but not like acknowledging you. But the woman kind of like looks at you and just kind of gives you like a, because I think she's seen you. You've definitely seen her because she's always like sitting here, kind of watching her kids play in the camp.
Frax has probably played with those kids many times in his stay in this town. He's looking about, just sort of picking up the general vibe of this morning in the Jensen camp, but he turns to his two compatriots and kind of looks aghast when he lays his eyes on them. Oh, good morning. I see you're here.
We've been following you for like 3 blocks.
Did not notice. Today, I feel that it is of importance for us to make sure that we're leaving the town in a good state for our return.
Yeah, it's probably about this time, Frax, as you finish saying that, that one of the kids, the little girl with like the missing tooth, she runs up to you and she goes, "Hello, Father. How are you today? Do a trick." And she like starts like tugging on your robes. She's like, "Show us the tricks."
Father, is that your kid?
He, ignoring Gormut's comment, he reaches down and sort of pulls her hair over her face, steps back if she lets go of his robe, and kind of almost his mannerisms are almost that of someone who's drunkenly swaying. He reaches down and
That looks familiar.
pulls on the cords leading to the bundle of roots wrapped around his waist, and then holds in his hand really close, crouches down, and he inches towards the girl, and he reaches behind her ear and pulls out a lit flame.
And I think Gormut's leaning in over his shoulder like, "Whoa." And then he does that and Gormut's like, "Whoa."
Yeah, the girl like she kind of is like, "Yay!" And then she like gets really excited.
Right?
Frax blows it out, and then he like begins to stand up, and then as he turns so that his back is facing the girl, she'll see that the backside of his robe is aflame.
Ooh.
Like right on the ground where she like as it drags on the dirt.
Yeah, she like I think she like tries to like she gets like nervous for a second. She's like, "Oh no!" And then she like almost like tries to fan it out, and then like realizes it's part of the trick, and then she kind of starts clapping again. And at this point, her I would say I probably half elven equivalent of like a tween. Her tween brother kind of runs up. He goes, "Come on, Sula, get away from them. He brought humans with him." And he like grabs her and starts to kind of like tug the little girl back in. Everybody, give me a perception roll.
Oh, I'm not paying any attention. 11.
That's not super bad.
6.
I'm paying more.
You know what? I'm hurt. He called. You know, He didn't call me a half orc. He realizes I'm human.
And this is perfect because from right beside you, Gormut, through like the doors to this, or I guess it would actually be this like tent thing over here. A half orc man comes out of the tent and goes, "That's because you stink." And he like looks at you, and you can see he's got like he looks like he was maybe like doing some work with like wood or lumber, and he like has an axe in his hand, and he kind of like snarls at you a little bit. He goes, "What do you want here?"
Well, I'm with him. I step aside to reveal Fraxus, who is doing Fraxus-y things.
He's stomping out the flame on his robes.
You actually let your rose on fire.
He's still performing the act.
Yeah. Excellent. So yeah, he sees Fraxinus and he kind of like, well, he can come and go, but you're not welcome here.
What's that supposed to mean? I'm with him. I didn't do nothing wrong with you.
We don't like humans in our circle.
Whoa.
Like I said, you stink.
I just started to point out he's not human. He's short. Even foray. I think he's a dwarf. Yeah, he's a dwarf.
Yeah, this guy kind of looks at you and he looks at Tarq and he goes like, again, kind of like, like his hand's still holding the axe and he kind of like wipes his nose. I think he's the half-orc equivalent of a Gormut type.
We can be such good friends.
Same, brain wavelength.
But this dude is unlike Gormut. This dude is like very much more like athletic looking. Like you can tell that he probably like swings an axe and does like lumber for his work. And so he kind of like looks at you guys. And he looks like he's about to say something else, and then from across the camp you guys hear the hobgoblin guy kind of go, "Hey, leave him alone. They can come and go as they please, just so long as they don't start any shit." And he like looks at all of you guys. You can see this, his big yellow eyes are like staring out from beneath his tent at you guys. And the half-orc dude kind of like grunts and moves off a bit, just be like, and over his shoulder as he's leaving, he's like, "Don't cause any trouble," and like walks away.
You don't cause any trouble. Mutual sniffing is what we did there. Yeah.
So this hobgoblin guy is still kind of looking at you, Gormut and Tarq, and he goes, "Kid's an idiot, but he means well. He's just trying to protect the camp. What do you guys want? You here to buy? You here to trade?"
I look at Fraxinus. I don't know why we're here.
I don't know why we're here. What do you got for sale?
"I got a whole bunch of good stuff. Come on over." And he puts his pipe down and starts to kind of show you his wares. What is Frax doing?
Frax is looking distracted. He is not like even focused on this conversation. He's nearby, but he is just sort of mulling about.
Yeah. So is he doing anything in particular? Just like looking for something, or just so I can keep it in the back of my mind?
He's I guess the best way to say he's vibing. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. So I think do you wander over like towards the woman who's like over here, like, and her older son who's like weaving, or like where are you wandering?
He is doing a quick like perimeter of the camp. Mostly staying in the open, but he's also not too far away from his two companions.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Just kind of observing.
Yeah.
We'll cut back to you in a second. So Tarq and Gormut, you wander over to the storefront, the makeshift storefront, and this hobgoblin guy is kind of like he's like pulls like kind of pulls some like the curtain aside a little bit more, and he goes, "Well, what are you looking for? I got a bunch of stuff for trade." He pulls back the curtain, and you see there's like sundries. There's like fruit. There's some herbs. You also see kind of like behind. I think you can see like a couple of weapons poking out. And he has a like dark velvet, velvety. I don't think he can afford velvet, but maybe velvety cloth over this like crate in front of him, which he seems to kind of be like unwilling to move away from.
What's in the box?
he looks at you.
Tark recognizing it's important to him.
Yeah, he looks at you and he goes, "Well, what's in your wallet?" And he like chews on his pipe.
Depends on what's in the box.
After last night, probably not much.
That's not. What
weapons you got?
Well, we got a whole bunch. And he he kind of like keeping his hand on the box. He kind of like swivels around and he like pulls a crate closer. And you can see he struggles with it because it's full of like heavy weaponry. But again, he's like pretty strong. And he pulls it towards you, and you guys can see there's essentially what would be like a battle axe in there, possibly of like dwarven make. You see he has got like really crappy, like almost like chipped up rapier that looks like it might break. He's got like a long sword, so he's got pretty much the D&D shopkeep equivalent of your starter pack weapons if you need them. And like you can see he kind of gestures and he goes, "Hey, I got a couple of crossbows back there too, whatever the and he looks at Gormut, humans will let me get away with."
Well, he's a keeper. He's great.
Yeah, he kind of looks at Gormut and he goes, "Yeah, I almost thought you were a half-orc."
I get that a lot. But I'm really starting to be aggravated because he just burst my bubble of being accepted here. Some part of him prefers to be discriminated against for being human than mistaken as a half-orc. Like, he's just...
My question for Gormut at this junction is, has he spent a lot of time around like Jensen camps or like half-orcs in general?
No.
Like enough to know?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I mean, he knows what they look like. And they scared him as a kid, I think, and then like he grew up just being called that, and said, "No, not really."
Yeah, so he likes the like infamy it affords him, but he's like,
yeah,
he can't really like walk the walk.
What would you take in trade for this? Shing! Pull out this big, terrible, awful, horrible blade and put it down.
He looks at it and frowns.
We work for the church. I smile.
Of course you do, son. He like nods sagely, just being like, "I know you're so full of shit, but like you are what he thinks you are." He goes, "Seen a lot of wear and tear. I'll give you 5 marks."
Well, what I was hoping is this.
Looking for a trade.
Plus, I don't know, not very much more money will get me that battle axe right there.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check, please. And you can do this with assistance because I think Tarq is helping you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
we're both at just the same level of bad at it, so.
Yeah.
Oh!
18.
Oh, we did.
And when I say we work for the church, I really mean it. We're going on a mission. With him.
Yeah. So he looks at your sword and he goes, he like picks it up. He goes, "Well, may I?" And he like kind of puts his hand on it. And he kind of inspects it and he goes, "Well, it's a piece of shit, but I hear a bunch of you guys are going out beyond the forest. It's probably going to get pretty ugly, and might not come back. I hear. So, tell you what, you can rustle up, make it 10 marks. Sorry, 10 gelt. I'm fucking up my own.
10 gelt. Yeah. Oh, ouch. Ooh.
So just as context for y'all, a great axe typically costs about 30 gold pieces in D&D 5e. So 10 is a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I reach out and just kind of take my sword from him. Right. I just want to get one thing straight. I'll come back when whatever it is that we're supposed to kill is dead. And I just walk the fuck out. I just walk out.
Yeah, he nods and he goes, "Oh, again, I'm willing to trade, but it doesn't look like you got too much. And then he like eyes Tarq a little bit, like, eh?
Nah, I'll just walk away with them.
Cool. Absolutely.
I definitely don't have 10 gal.
Yeah.
I think Tarq, you know your way around, at least probably minimally appraising items. This guy looks like he has better wares than anything in the general store that you've seen, and like I think the price that he just gave to Gormut was I think high for this town, but like low for elsewhere. So you can tell
a great price.
Yeah,
we just don't have the money.
He's kind of like, you can tell though that I would say that with your roguish knowledge of like shopping and stuff and like appraising items, this guy might have some like really good stuff that you definitely can't afford. So yeah, you guys just kind of like walk towards the edge of the camp. And Frax, can I have you go ahead and give me a perception check? Actually, no, I'm sorry. Make it an investigation check, please, because you're kind of scoping out the camp.
Okay.
I can't believe we have not gotten into combat yet. What type of D&D game am I running? I'm like honestly freaking out about it. I have so many fights set up and I was like, they haven't done anything like besides
Get wasted.
I got a pretty good roll on that 21.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let me go ahead and roll a stealth check for somebody.
Oh.
Frax, as you are kind of going about your business, maybe you stop and appreciate the beautiful tapestry that this half-elven woman is, weaving with the help of her son. And you kind of like look behind you and you see the little girl like running around and like you see that she's like definitely like stomping on like embers, being like, I'm like the old guy over there, like totally emulating her, and her brother's like, don't do that. Like, so you get like all of this like weird ambiance of this like little tiny community. But I think somewhere over here, like you kind of see them moving in the shadows between the tents. You see just a dark cloaked figure kind of dart moving as if they are trailing two of your companions. Your only two companions.
Are they like creeping? I missed the mapping if you did one. But
yeah, they're creeping like over here.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Are they like moving towards those two?
They don't look like they're moving like to intercept, but you definitely see like as these guys have walked. Ooh, I can use my arrow tool. You guys, so like, presumably you guys were like over here somewhere, like talking to the hobgoblin, and then you guys move this way.
Mm-hmm.
Frax, you kind of see that this figure would have gone like kind of like around the camp, just sort of like following.
I think with kids around, we're totally like not even paying attention at all whatsoever. Yeah.
What are Gormut and Tarq doing currently?
Oh, we probably start making our way back towards you.
Yeah, sort of just talking, looking for you, right? Like but chatting probably about the experience we just had in the store or in the sort of makeshift shop.
Mm-hmm. Frax is going to keep looking pretty blankly, and when the two approach him, he's going to ask, have you gotten your shopping done for this morning?
Yes.
Little rich for my blood.
We didn't get nothing.
We'll have to come back after we get paid for this job. There's an axe in there that I gotta have.
You could probably earn some money before we depart. I saw an advert, freshly posted. The money is still available if we go now.
Is it 10 gelt?
It is on its way.
What?
Half.
So it's 6 gelt?
Yes.
That'd be 5, but yeah.
It is some stench that needs attending to, and this is a duty of a lamplighter, is to...
You sure it's not that half fork?
It is in a well. We will go. I will purify it as I do. It is my duty as a lamplighter. And we will collect our reward, and I shall split it with you.
Right.
We have a whole day, and the daylight is burning. We do not want to wait for tomorrow's fortune when we can make our own today, no?
Let's go. So all you got to do is clean out a well?
DM, which direction is the old mill from the Jensen camp? Is it north or south?
I don't think you would know this because I think you just kind of wandered into town. Although if you share the writer of the note with Gormut, he could probably point you back in the direction of the general store and that guy, Gerald, who runs it, who was the one who posted it. So he might be able to phone you more.
Okay.
He made my boots. Yeah.
So yeah, Frax would recite with a sort of a projected accent of the locals on his retelling, and it's really, really overdone.
Can we get that in character? No, I'm kidding.
No, thank you.
So yeah, if you guys make your way back to the general store, you guys can. I won't make you RP it out because I want to get this rolling.
When they're moving back, Frax begins kind of wags behind and tries to keep an eye on the whereabouts of that hooded stranger.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me another perception roll, or a perception roll rather.
Not so great.
Yeah. I mean, I'll roll stealth for them again, but.
Oh.
So close. You see, I think all you see on your way, because they rolled so poorly, is you see somebody dart I'm still on ruler tool. Again, you kind of saw them over here, and you kind of just see the person maybe a rustle in the bushes over yonder. It's hard to track. You barely see it. You don't know if they're still following you. But yeah, you guys move up back to the general store. You can easily get directions out to the old mill. The old mill is to the northwest of town, so you kind of have to go past the gallows and the cemetery, and then into the woods. Just a bit outside of town. It's about 1.5 miles outside of town, so not crazy far trek through the woods. Nothing dangerous, but literally, the guy will tell you it's an abandoned mill that basically. The terrain over there kind of became more swampy and not as good for the actual production. And as the town kind of moved in a different direction, it just fell out of service. So yeah, you can get directions there pretty easily. He does tell you that you're going to have to take the road, basically the northwest road out of town until you cross a bridge. There's a small swampy river area that kind of there's a covered bridge is what he tells you, and then again a little bit beyond that you'll come to the old mill. This guy will explain that some of the locals kind of use the area over there because it's further inland away from the edge of town towards where the mist would be. They use that area inland around the swamp to kind of graze what animals they have, and this guy owns a farm out yonder, so he is unhappy with that. So if you guys disembark, I'm going to go ahead and move you on to a new map. I did want to check in. Jason, how are you doing on time?
I got 8:45 is probably fine.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I'll say that while they are on their way to the building, Frax makes it a point to remind the fellows, now, as we leave the confines of the town, it is up to you to defend me from anything that might be lurking. Just keep an eye out. Frax being pretty paranoid looking for the middle of the day.
I'll begin to perceive everything I can now. So he's seeming more paranoid. So
Yeah.
I'll start looking around.
All right. So if you guys
As we make our way out of town, just kind of being a little more perceptive.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and just give me a survival roll, please.
4.
16.
Do I die? Is that what I do?
You just die.
You trip over the first like rock in the path and you break your neck. You're done.
Oh,
No,
man.
yeah. So I think this is perfect because you know, Gormut, you just follow Tarq. That's what you do.
I do.
And
Yeah.
Frax, you don't know this area at all, and I would say that generally, like, navigating has not been like one of the things that you've like become very accustomed to in your day. So Frax leads the charge outside.
Just kind of guiding him as he's in front of me. So I guess
Directing Frax, who's like would just meander towards a bush.
I'm sorry, I think I said Frax, but yeah, so Tarq would be leading the charge here. But yeah, guiding Fraxinus as need be. But yeah, so eventually you guys, you come upon, you walk for a little while, sort of about maybe around like midday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something at this point. It's got a little bit of a later start. I'm just trying to drag your tokens over to this because I should have done that before, but I didn't. So I'm doing it now. Whoop. And there's Tarq right in front. So I'm going to pull you all over to this. Can you guys see this map?
No. I'm on a different layer.
It's probably my dynamic lighting. Let's take a sec to address that. Oh.
Characters have vision?
Yep. They should. Let's see. Gormut has vision. Yeah. Wonder what I did.
Am I on the wrong layer?
Bear with me. No, it might be. Hold on. It's probably this. I had a setting wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I will put your
nice.
back on the board. All right.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Sight has been returned.
Sorry. Thank you all for whoever's watching for bearing with me because Roll20 is great and I am a scatterbrain, so sometimes I don't remember how to use it.
But let me give the subtext. She uses it better than any of the other GMs on this channel, so I'm just saying.
It's still always a learning curve though.
Yeah.
So as you guys come upon this covered bridge, everybody roll perception.
So, okay, 17. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
Ooh,
Well,
amazing.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. Firstly, I would say Frax with a 20, you certainly can see that there's a river over here, like a very, very slow, it's almost like mostly mud. It's like a trickle of water slowly moving. It looks like it's like a mosquito, like just paradise, like still pools of water, very swampy, but there are like deeper parts towards like right underneath the bridge where the foundation has kind of been dug out. So you do see that there's like a little bit of like a kind of a gross, you get that algae covering where you can kind of like imagine like throwing something onto the water and it like sticking there before sinking because of how much algae there is. And it's the same for like a couple of these pools around, like there's a couple of like little puddles and stuff that kind of look like trees on the map, but I meant them to be water. I'm realizing now. But yeah, so you kind of take this in. You also notice that the bridge itself is in a moderate state of disrepair. It looks like people have kind of like boarded up the like bottom of it to maybe make it more stable, but the roof has like basically caved in, and it's just like it's not traveled. It's very, very like a little bit unsturdy. And that's kind of the scene. I think also with the 20 though, and again, I'm gonna just give you all props because I literally have like DCs written down for these things, and like consistently you guys have always rolled like 20, 20, 20. And I'm like, I don't want to like, I'm not the type of GM who usually like reveals all to characters in the beginning of a setting, but you guys have just really rolled super high at level 1. So congratulations. Frax, you notice the swampy water below here is like bubbling, like weirdly.
This place has a stench to it. Be on your lookout. I do not suspect anything.
Watch your step.
But what is unexpected?
The bridge looks like it's about to cave in. Why don't you let me go first? I'm heavier. If I can make it, you can make it. And I think about that.
Sounds good.
Amazing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly make a perception check. What is this bonus here? Huh. Okay. Something for me to keep in mind for later. So Gormut, you lead the way. Tarq, you follow. Are you following like 5 feet behind? Or are you following like 10? Like how
More like 10.
Okay. And Frax, you're behind a little bit more.
Frax is sort of standing there watching them approach the mill.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be looking over my shoulder a whole lot, making sure Frax is all right. Like, I know that I'm taking the lead because I kind of feel like I should, but he's
Frax is looking a lot more focused right now. He is just kind of, you can see he's looking in your direction, but his gaze is wide and is taking in the scene.
Yeah.
Motion them forward as I step forward. I'm taking it like, kind of moving up closely. Is it kind of dark and eerie in there, I'm guessing, inside the covered bridge?
Very dark and eerie. And you are a human and you do not have dark vision, so you can barely see at certain points.
There's holes in the roof. I was going to ask how much light comes in through the...
I would say a fair amount. Like, you can clearly see that there's like you don't see any like bulky shapes or anything within there, like outlined or anything. It just maybe like here and there's like a beam that's kind of crisscrosses like a shadow in your path, but nothing that seems untoward, like no lurking figures, because you can see across the other end as well.
Okay, so I don't bother to light a torch. I was about to curse and light a torch, but I'll step in and kind of testing my footing as I go and resting my weight and kind of moving along.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you do so, go ahead and just roll me a d20, please. No bonuses or modifiers, just one d20 roll.
Come on, 20, if that's what I'm supposed to roll. 19.
Hi, 19.
Very good.
That's good.
So this is a mechanic that I like to play with a lot, and I just do luck checks a lot. So instead of rolling like an encounter table or something, I will roll I'll have a couple of options and I'll have you guys roll luck. So if I ever ask you to roll a d20, unless I otherwise specify that it's for something else, it'll probably be a luck check.
Nice.
The way these work is usually 0 to 10, you're not so lucky, and then 11 to 20, you're lucky.
Okay.
So in this instance, you're very lucky. And basically what happens with that luck check is the bridge holds. You do not, as you step onto this thing and start moving, you do not need to like make a dexterity save.
Okay.
Like, it is sturdy enough, and you can tell, I think, too, like with that, as you progress across it, you see that it's stone foundation and it's still pretty sturdy. I will say though, unfortunately, you are a large man, you are a heavy dude. And you are carrying a greatsword. So each of your footfalls just kind of poof, 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 poof across the stone. Frax, I think you probably see this first because you like initially noticed it. But and I want to say too that there are like slits and openings to the sides to this bridge, so you can kind of like see out over it. And Gormut, you can see like a little bit if you look to either side. There's like little slits where you can see the water below. But Frax, you were like looking, over here and over here, and you see the water start to bubble, and slowly you see little like lumps rising up in the swamp, covered in algae, and you eventually, as they start to break the surface of the water, you start to see these little creatures, and they're looking up at the bridge, all of them, and like kind of looking like something has disturbed them from their bath in this nasty swamp water.
I see these things.
I don't think you do, because you're like I think you're probably like at this point you might be like closer to here, like on the bridge as you're.
He's like entering the bridge, and we're just
where. Okay, so I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the map well enough. So seeing these things pop up, Frax.
Okay, so I'm gonna move you real quick because I think you're about here.
Yeah, but it's gonna mess up my.
Did I have dynamic lighting on that?
Yeah.
Here.
So that's why I moved myself back so that the stream could see the murder.
Don't
that's
worry.
about. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah.
Frax begins emitting this like really quiet rumble. You hear the tambourine begin to shake. And then he's holding it above his head with this and gives one big slap to the broken tambourine. It doesn't make a huge drumming noise because it is torn, but definitely loud enough to hopefully get Gormut's attention.
Yeah, Gormut, you hear this, and you kind of turn around like this disruption, and you see Fraxinus doing this weird like tambourine thing. Tarq, I think you begin to see as this is happening. I think you begin to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my bow.
And I think we all need to roll initiative for our first fight, which is very fun. And I think I don't want to do this, but I think we have to. I think we should probably end it with initiative. It's 8:30, and I know we have an 8:45 cutoff.
Yeah, I do. It's true. Okay.
So go ahead and give me those initiative rolls, and we will get started next week with combat, which is so fun. Or not next week, but next time.
19.
Heck yeah. Nice.
Frax is exactly where he needs to be.
All right. So also for future, Tyler, if you could click on your token and then roll initiative, it'll automatically add you to the tracker, but I can add you right now. Actually, I'm not going to add you right now, so we'll just do this next time. But yeah, so 2 19s. So it's going to go Tarq, Gormut, Frax, and then these poor bullybugs who you're probably just going to absolutely murder.
Goddamn right we are.
All right. Well, you guys, I'm so sorry that we haven't gotten into combat because that's like the thrilling part of D&D. But
awesome.
I'm excited for this. We've had some really cool RP to set all this adventuring up. So I can't wait to see what you guys do and how you find the source of this problem and hopefully make some money. The quest for money begins. Heck yeah. Great job tonight, guys. You were such a joy to play with.
Len, thank you. And we're going to end the stream right here.